Morning musings from the tiny little studio on this tiny little Greek island. Today we have August 13th. It's Tuesday, and the month is going by fast. There's many things going on this month. Again, I'm going to say that because this is the vacation month of all of Greece. I may be here, I may not be here, so just give me a little leeway and flexibility until September kicks in and we get back on the program. So yesterday, I was listening to a Mel Robbins podcast, and it was called, here, let me read it to you, Let Go of Negative Thoughts and Reprogram Your Mind for More Positive Thinking. And it's a great podcast, and helpful in many different ways. But basically, it's making the decision to just move from your habitual state of mind and just shifting a little bit, so that you're able to see and open up to more positive things. And the exercise that she gives here is that she says, okay, just for today, just focus on seeing a heart. See a heart somewhere, somehow during the day, because you are reprogramming yourself. And if you ask your mind to find a heart, you will find a heart. And I thought, okay, I have done these kinds of things in the past, talking about walking down the street, and rather than looking down at the sidewalk or the pavement or whatever, to focus on looking at eye level and upwards as you're walking down the street, and just see the difference of your mental state, of how it changes by that simple little thing. So because of that, I knew that this, focusing on seeing a heart, that something would probably happen, right? So this was in the morning. Later on that day, we're sitting down to eat, and it was a watermelon day, because one of the main meals in Greece during the summertime is, a big plate of watermelon with feta cheese and bread. Okay, we don't do the bread thing anymore, but that is your a classic summer meal. And so we were eating watermelon and talking about, the life events that are going on in our lives. And my daughter suddenly, out of the blue, picks up a piece of watermelon in her fork, and she says, "Hey, look, it's a heart." And I get all excited when things like that happen. So I was like, "Oh my God." And I told her about listening to the Mel Robbins podcast, and that I said, I'm going to give it a try today and, see if it works. And there it was. So here's the thing. It's not like the heart shapes are not there. It's that you're not focused on them. So if you open up the pathway to focus on a heart shape, in one way or another, you are going to find a heart. And because your mind will just open up to it. And, as an example, when you want to buy a car, this was an example that Mel Robbins used in the podcast. When you want to buy a car and you have a specific car in mind, suddenly you're out driving and you see those kinds of car, that type of car again and again and again. Well, it's not like they just suddenly opened up and there they were. They just came to you because you've decided that you want to buy this particular car, but it's that they've always been there. It's just that you have been just not focused on it. And that's a very perfectly logical way for our minds to work, because our minds can take in an endless amount of information, and just what the heck are you going to focus on, right? So you need to be focusing on the things that are important to you. So if you make hearts important to you today, you're going to find a heart somewhere, somehow, in some way. And so what does any of this have to do with painting, right? It's kind of the same thing. If you're looking at your painting and where you are as an artist, and you think, well, I really don't know very much about edge work, right? About how to do successful edge work in my painting. It's something that you just don't know, and you don't see, and you don't understand. If you turn your mind to focusing on edges, suddenly you will begin to see and uncover a whole new level of your artwork, of your painting process, and of how to put a successful painting together. And it's like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that has been my experience in a very, very strong way throughout my painting pathway these past 10, 15 years. About 15 years that I have been, very much back into the painting process. And that has been a fact. So the ways that you can open up to the things that you don't see is, first of all, get yourself a loving, caring mentor, someone who isn't just going to say, oh, look how nice that is, right? Someone who is going to really show you and help you see how and what and why certain things are not working in your painting. It's like in the very beginning, when I was still learning how to paint, I was still a beginner, basically a beginner, was the color green, using greens in my landscapes, and that they were just so green. Too green. Green is a very, very deceptive color, because you look out, especially if you're in the UK. Hi, Corby. If you're in the UK, you've got these intense green fields, right? The grass, the color of the trees can be very, very, very green, but you don't want to paint them that way. You do not want to paint the green like the way that you see it. And there's like, once you see that, once you do a painting that's not as green as the one you did before, and you see how beautifully it works, because it's not this garish, intense green, you can't unsee it. Then every work that you see that has that intense green in it, that's not working well, because chances are it's not going to work well unless you're an advanced artist and you know how to put the greens together so that they're not garish and that they're not screaming at you. Then you can't unsee it, and you will always know to tone down your greens, to gray them down intensely, and have that vibrant green for specific areas in your landscape that will guide the eye, that are useful, that help with the movement of the painting, or bring you to a focal point. There are ways to use the vibrant green, for example, that are effective in a painting. So, but you won't see it, right, until you're able to find a heart in your day. So I love that thought. I am all over it. I think it's perfectly true. It has been my experience over and over and over again. And let me just talk a little bit about the mentorship thing, right? When you have a mentor that can really help you, they will not tell you what to do. Listen to me here. They will not tell you what to do, but they will help you uncover the things that you're not seeing and help you open up to that so that you can incorporate it, you can work it through in your own mind. This is not fast food stuff. A good mentor will help you see. And when you are able to see, you are able to develop yourself in a much faster way and move yourself up to the next level more quickly. And painting is not fast food. It will never be fast food, even if you are a fast food type artist where you're just, painting the self-expression type stuff. You're just slapping paint on your painting, on your canvas, and, creating abstract types, self-expressionist type works, which is, great and very healing and healthy ways to go about your creativity and discovering who you are as a creative being, right? But when you are able to look at what you're doing and your mentor is coming at you and saying, take a look at this area here, come back to me when you think you have an answer. And there is this communication, the mentor guiding you to the open door, but not going and throwing the door open and saying, look here, this is it. Because then the artist, the person who is trying to develop their creativity and develop their understanding of their creativity, is being told to follow this path rather than helping them follow their own path. And I really, really, really believe that. So my mentor, Colleen Coban, who turned me from just somebody who was painting a pretty picture or trying to paint a pretty picture, because at the time I couldn't, she brought me to a level of artistry, so that from this level, this beginner's level of artistry, I can move myself forward now and discover the things that I need to discover for myself. And one of those things is coming back to again and again and again the decision to see a heart today, the decision to see edge work, to see my edge work. And if I'm looking at somebody else's artwork, somebody that is way above me, finding something and say, okay, there's something here. I don't know what it is, but I want to discover what it is that this artist is doing because I like it and I want to incorporate that. And when you ask that simple question, even if you don't know what it is that you're asking, but you have the image of this painting that, let's say, Scott Christensen has painted, or Clyde Aspivig, or any of the great artists or masters from the past, and you ask that question: how did Vermeer get this luminosity, right? And yeah, you can go back and read it and get an answer. Google, ChatGPT will give you something. But when you take the time to discover it and open up to your interpretation of what's going on, and then when you have that interpretation of what's going on, bringing it down to your canvas and trying it out and working with it and making mistakes and discovering the process of trying to create the certain effect, then you will truly develop as an artist. Truly. And it won't be some, fast food. You're not regurgitating somebody else's ideas or thoughts or what they consider to be right or wrong or anything like that. And that will give you, as a human being on this beautiful planet, in your beautiful tiny little studios, a gift that is beyond anything else. So those are my thoughts. And I don't know if I'll be back again tomorrow. I'm assuming I will be. It doesn't look like my day is going to be thrown off tomorrow. So hopefully I'll be back tomorrow. But if not, I'm not. I'm back when I'm back. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Be inspired. Be creative.